Hi Apurva, and we are really, blessed and we are really happy to have you on board with us.
Thank
So
you.
I'm just gonna, give your introduction to the audience. And as you are a parenting coach and entrepreneur and a founder of the Visionary Parent, so could you tell us who the real Apurva is?
Well, the real Apurva was basically a typical mediocre girl from Mumbai, and she had big dreams, but never believed that it would be true. But
Okay.
there were incidents in my life, like everyone go through a phase, right, where they just get out of that limiting belief, or they just get out and they understand themselves. And that was when I had my kid, and that was kind of a revelatory phase for me. And I started knowing myself deeply first, and then that's how this Sapurva, the parenting coach, came to be. But yeah, that's about it.
So my first question is that as you strongly believe that parenting is a skill which is acquired and not inherited, so can you please elaborate this statement?
Well, it's a great question. We all know that parenting is a full-time job, right? Can we take breaks from parenting, from being parents? No. Can we say that, I've done enough for now? No, right? I'm taking a break from this job or something like that. No, we cannot do it. So it's a full-time job. That means there has to be a skill attached to it. Now, let me share with you an analogy. Whenever you want to work in a company, what is the first thing that we do? We learn a skill, we upgrade ourselves so that we are relevant to the industry, right? It's the same thing with parenting. So now, if most of the times what we do is we just we've been taught by our parents, and they have been taught by their parents, and the cycle kind of keeps on repeating. So it's like an ancestral imprints that we are carrying still, and that's what we pass on to our kids. We say that that's what we have been taught to us. That's what we have been taught. That's why we are teaching our kids the same thing. But the problem is we are not upgrading ourselves. So do you think that the children which are in the they are growing in the innovation age, they are no more an industrial age, so there are different ages that we are living through, right? This is an innovation age, and if we do not upgrade ourselves, if we do not learn, if we do not invest in our learning, and if we rather say that this is what we have been taught, then I think there will be a gap that is called generation gap, and that's the gap we need to fill today. And that's the reason I believe that parenting is a skill that is acquired by learning, by investing on our self, on our learning, and only then parenting can be a smooth journey, right? That's about it.
I agree. Yeah, I agree, Apurva. So my next question is that can you give our audience some tips on how to empower your relationship with your child?
Well, I just have one answer to it. Listen to your child. Your child will tell you how to empower your relationship with them. It's as simple as that. Because what we parents do is we have this mindset that I am a parent. Since I am a parent, I am going to order, or I am going to demand my child to do certain tasks. But
Always
that's
right.
what
Yeah, I know.
that's what needs to be rectified. Yeah.
I agree. So this pandemic has, taken a toll on everyone, physically or mentally, and it has taken a toll on everybody's mental health. So what challenges, did you face in the quarantine period, or
Oh.
you're still facing?
Yes, there were a lot of issues, like a lot of problems, as in I had to balance my work. I'm working in a company. I am also obviously I have a 4-year-old kid. I have my in-laws who were tested positive. Then we had no maids at home, so I had to balance everything. And on top of that, my husband used to travel to office even in pandemic. So
Even
that, yes, yes, he had to travel. He's managing an India team, HR, into HR, human resource. So he's into fintech now, but previously he was into pharmaceutical. So he had to, travel to office daily. So that was the biggest challenge for me to manage everything. But obviously, I got support. I got support from my in-laws, from my parents. They are like my backbone, and I had faced adversities when it came to managing my kid, because she wasn't used to seeing us all the time. 24/7 we are around them. And so let me tell you, due to this pandemic, the majority of people who are affected by this pandemic are the children. They are the most affected people in this world, because they are not supposed to go out, they are not supposed to explore, they're not supposed to, they have so much of energy, they are so much sensitive to energy, and they are not able to, vent it out. When they play, they just vent out their energies, right? They're not able to do that. So what I truly feel is, rather than us, children are the most impacted. And I had this one situation which actually caused me to, research more on this parenting subject, because I had been through it. There was a moment in my life when I was actually physically ill, and I did not cope well with the situation. And that's the time when even my kid decides to be all over me. She was troubling me, she was throwing tantrums because I was cranky. She eventually became cranky. We both were in tears, and there was a moment when, I went out all my anger towards her. And that was also the moment that I realized that this is not something that I resonate with, and I need to change this habit of being angry, of hitting or yelling at your children. That's how my journey of this, researching, then I started my post graduation diploma in child psychology as well in this pandemic itself. And it was like a game changer for me. Right now, I can totally, understand that, people are having those mental health issues. But I also believe that children are the most impacted, and I want to do something for children. And that's the reason I'm here to spread this message that parenting is something which is really, really, really important, and we have to give, that much dedication to that skill. That's it.
okay, Apurva. So, as you know that every parent, thinks they are a good parent and they have different perspectives, on parenting. So, Apurva, when can you know? Just tell us that how do you actually get to know if you are a good parent, if you are being a good parent to your child or not?
Okay. So, first thing first, there is nothing as good parent and bad parent. Okay. Nobody conceives a child just to decide that, I'm going to be a bad parent for that person, right? Everybody is coming from somewhere. Everyone have their own conditioning, right from their own childhood. Our parents have taught us, their parents have been taught by their parents. So it's like an ancestral imprints that we are carrying. It's nothing like good parent or a bad parent, but um, parenting depends on different experiences that people have, right? But we, although we understand that we all are doing best what we could, we parents, we are doing best what we could, but there is always scope to improvement. There is always scope to, knowing better. And when you know better is when you learn new skills, learn new things, new dimensions, new perspectives. That's how it is.
I agree, Apurva. Could you please share your parenting experience with us? We would really, love to hear from you on that.
Definitely, definitely. So, let me tell you, I wasn't this, visionary or conscious parent. In the year 2017, I had my kid. At that time, although me and my husband, we both inclined towards, learning new things and learning new stuffs and overcoming our own limiting beliefs and then, changing perspectives. When I was pregnant, I did this Garbha Sanskar, and that was the time when I understood that, the first neuron of the brain and the first heartbeat of the child in the womb develops on 21st day of conception.
Oh,
That means the 21st day of conception, the child is already starting to learn new things. That is why we say that Garbha Sanskar is so important, because even in the womb, the child is learning a lot of things, right? So I learned a lot about this womb and nurturing and everything. We did that whole process. But even though I had my limitations, right? I was working in a company. I was on leave, and everything was going hand in hand. But I wasn't conscious on what my parenting style is, or how I am parenting my child, or what things do I say to my child which might impact her later in her life, right? So, what I truly believe is our conditioning happens only from the first 8 years. The belief system develops from the first 8 years, and those beliefs are carried throughout the life.
yeah.
That is why that there's a science behind it, that until the age of 8 years, the child's brain does not have a conscious mind, and we all know that conscious is just 10%. Everything else is 90% is subconscious, right? And during these years, the child's brain is entirely subconscious. So whatever good or bad qualities you teach right now is going to set the foundation for the child for the entire years.
Of their
And
life.
yes, and that's the reason I've also learned this inner child healing. So that's the recent part. But in the year 2019, as I shared, I had that one moment. It's not that I have never hit my child till that year, or I have not yelled at her for being very mischievous,
Yeah.
or that. But that day was a revelatory day for me, because it actually caused me to introspect about myself. And my husband helped me a lot, because I believe my husband is a visionary. A visionary is a person who understands, or who can see the bigger picture even in those little moments or those smaller things, right? And that's how the changes in me begin. I started my post graduation diploma in child psychology. I collaborated with a clinical psychologist, Dr. Paul Jenkins. So he's my mentor, and I took certification course. I did certification course from him. I'm a certified, internationally certified coach. Then came a time when I realized that whatever limiting beliefs that I have about myself is the conditioning from those past years. So I did that inner child healing process. And when I did that, it was uh, like uplifting for me. It was revelatory and uplifting for me. So then I learned that process for me to help others, because in these 2 years I've noticed that there are so many other parents struggling through day to day activities, like day to day they are struggling. And even my friends, I could see they yelling at their children for no apparent reason, because of our own conditioning. And that's what I started this community as the visionary parent community. I wrote a book this year, April to the on my child's birthday, April 4th, it got released. I've been writing this book since 2 years. And then I formed this community as a visionary parent community, wherein I help parents heal their inner child first. So my mission is to help them heal their inner child, help them build a vision for their children, and then empower their relationship with them. So that's about my journey. Thank you so much for asking me.
Really commendable, truly. So it is, it is kind of an out of the context question, but I really, would like to ask you that how can we actually respond healthily in stressful situations? Yeah, for me, in my situations when I'm really stressful, so it becomes really difficult to, to just stay calm and to just, respond very calmly and just, so it becomes
Do
really
you have
difficult.
a kid?
No, I'm just 21.
Okay. Okay. That's what I was thinking. Okay, okay, okay.
No,
So,
in general, I'm asking. I'm
yes,
asking.
in general, I understand that we all go through these emotions, and these are emotions. Anger is also an emotion, right? And
Yes.
we all are bound to experience those emotions, and we need to embrace those emotions as well. So I'll give you a 3D formula which I've created. So the first one is deep breathing. Whenever you feel that you are stressed, whenever you feel you are anxious and you're not able to handle the situation, the first thing that you need to do is left nostril breathing. Left, what does, there's a science behind left nostril breathing is when we do left nostril breathing, our parasympathetic nervous system activates. Now this parasympathetic nervous system, what does it do? It releases dose, dose. Now you go to the doctor gives you that dose, right? Do you know what full form it has, what it's acronym for? It's dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphin. So these are
Okay.
the hormones
Hormones.
these are the hormones which gives us pleasure, which
Yes.
makes us happy, right?
Yes.
These are the hormones. Whenever we feel happy, these are the hormones which are released. So
Just
when you do left nostril breathing, the dose is released.
okay.
Okay. And our parasympathetic nervous system activates, and which is responsible for releasing dose. Okay, that is the number one. The second is distance yourself from people whom you might be angry. Okay, at that heat of the moment, there might be situations which we just blur out anything, right? Blurt out anything. So at that moment, see, if it's a family member, or even if it's a family member, we shouldn't do it. But at times it does happen, right? So it's better to just tell them that, let me talk to you in a while. So you go for a walk, go for, do this breathing exercise. Tell them I'm not in a mood to talk, or I'm not in a situation that I can healthily respond to this situation. And the third is practice delayed response. Like distancing is one of the solution, but delayed response is really thinking through the situation, really thinking through the problem. But at times, what happens when we are angry, when we are, stressed, we don't understand what to respond. And there are two particular responses that come. The immediate response will always be from the brain, which is responsible for the adrenaline rush,
Yeah, it is a
right?
stressful hormone, right?
Yes, that is a stressful hormone, and we react in the worst possible manner at that time. That is why that we need to wait for some time and then respond to that situation, or react to that situation. So practice delayed response. So these are the three D's: deep breathing, distance yourself, and delayed response.
I'm really gonna apply to that, really.
Yeah.
And whenever I'm in this situation, I will just remember what you said, and I'm just
Yes.
gonna apply it. Really, thank you so much. And these are the questions that I had to ask you, and I I had so much fun talking to you.
I had so much fun talking to you, Nancy.